a piece of land that we're looking at meets the parameters of the financial aspects that we're looking for to provide the correct return. In the end, it ended up saving us several thousands of dollars and for several hundreds of thousands of dollars for the entire project. In the build-to-rent market, I kind of break down the development of the entire project into 5 stages. So the first stage would be feasibility and then acquisition. The second stage would be entitlements, approvals, design, and engineering. The third stage would be horizontal construction. The fourth stage would be vertical construction. And of course, the fifth stage would be leasing. So it's key to note that development is involved in all of those stages. So if you think about the first stage of feasibility and acquisitions, land development is needed, expertise is needed then to determine if a piece of land that we're looking at meets the parameters of the financial aspects that we're looking for to provide the correct return. So that expertise is needed in the first stage prior to us even purchasing the land. And then during the second stage, which is the entitlements and approvals and design and engineering, development managers such as myself and the team that works for me are the lead to ensure that we're going through the necessary approvals, whether that be zoning or some sort of environmental regulation, and we're also coordinating for the design and engineering of the site, both from a civil perspective and then also from a vertical perspective. During the third stage, that's horizontal construction. So again, the development team is the lead of that, and they're overseeing the horizontal construction from the beginning to the end and making sure that we've built it to the design that was intended. And then during the fourth stage, we're handing that project over to the vertical construction team, but we're still involved because during that time, some things might come up that are an obstacle for the vertical construction team that we would be resolving for them. And then finally, the fifth stage is leasing, and all of this is done and designed on purpose so that we provide a high quality product, and the regulatory requirements are extremely critical. The good thing is that focusing in Texas, that most of the areas in Texas are pro-growth. Most of them are. And so the cities and counties and municipalities will work with you to overcome those sorts of obstacles. But say that we're looking at a site and it needs a rezoning. If it's zoned one thing, it needs to be rezoned in something else. Well, this depends on, as we're analyzing it from my perspective and from the CEO's perspective, that it might not be financially viable to go through the process of rezoning. It might take too much time, or it might not be successful. So we might choose to not pursue that piece of land and instead look at a different opportunity where we might not have a zoning or a rezoning approval to make. So those things are critical, and we look at them at the very earliest stage, right, during feasibility, because we want to know what all of those requirements are before we decide to purchase the land. And if it still makes financial sense and if it's in our best interest to go forward or not. So those regulatory requirements are very critical, whether that be a zoning or rezoning, or whether that's some sort of physical constraint, so whether there's wetlands or a floodplain obstacle or maybe even an environmental protected species. So we want to know all of those things up front before we even decide to buy the land, because we might choose to not buy the land. Of course, so now during the development, we're past the point of purchasing, and now we're going through the process of entitlements, approvals, and engineering and design. And during that process, we're going to work with the municipality, the city, the county, whatever authority that it is, to ensure that we're meeting their design guidelines. But there's always a negotiation to take place with that municipality. So a recent example is that we have a project that's in a suburb of Dallas, and that project, they wanted a specific type of decorative feature above and below every window on the front of every home. Well, every one of the homes has 7 windows, and so that was a pretty expensive cost to us. And we knew it, but at the same time, we also knew that there was a possibility to go in and negotiate for something else. So we did. We went in and negotiated and said, we understand this is the decorative feature that you want for these windows. Can we show you some other options? And so we ended up being able to show them 2 other options, and they said okay to one of the other options. And so now what we ended up doing is meeting the same design intent, so the house will still look exactly the same, only using a different product, and that product is 1/4 of what the cost was of the original. So in the end, it ended up saving us several thousands of dollars and for several hundreds of thousands of dollars for the entire project. But that was a part of going into the municipality during that proper stage and negotiating with them on the development agreement.